Perfect. Welcome, guys. We have Gemma from Zimbabwe. She's one of the most influential youth in Africa, guys. Not just Africa alone, just the whole world. Yes, Gemma, you are really an inspiration to the girl child, and I love your activism. I love your work. She's a musician, guys. You know, as Climate Live, we use music to communicate. So we have an example here. We have Gemma. She's literally using her music, her influence, to advocate for climate change, to connect with youth. So Gemma, I'll give this opportunity to you to just introduce yourself, tell more people more about yourself. Then we're gonna play your short video that you did about climate change. Then you can also share more about that. So I'll give it up to Gemma, guys.
Woo! Good morning, good morning. Thank you guys so much for having me. I am here with Climate Live and I'm in Dubai to not only talk but to perform tomorrow night. And yeah, I think a massive part of my journey has been creating my art in natural spaces across Africa. It's been a really big part of who I am as an artist. My mum is also a reforestation queen. She runs a reforestation project called My Trees Trust in Zimbabwe, where they plant indigenous trees. So it's been a massive part of my life and my journey to sort of be involved in that space. And the documentary that we're going to show now, A Girl from Harare, is actually the writing of one of my projects, an EP called A Girl from Harare, which I wrote and recorded whilst driving across Africa. I spent almost 2 years living in a Land Rover Defender with a tent on top and a solar panel and a fridge and a recording studio in the back of my Land Rover, and I drove across Africa through 10 countries, 25,000 kilometers, and 2 years where we basically connected with people in all over the continent. We visited a lot of incredible rainforests and coral safe havens, and basically the plan was that we're losing so much on the continent in terms of wild spaces, and I wanted to showcase a little bit about how beautiful Africa is, and to try and connect with people on the ground, but also to make music in those spaces. So the entire project is about these different places across the East Coast, Southern and Central Africa, all the way across to the West Coast as well, where all the music was written and recorded on the road. And yeah, I hope you enjoy it.
Wow, thank you so much, Gemma. You know, I literally love when you say that you're using solar panels and solar power. That's innovation, and thank you so much for that. And we can see that we have influential people taking action. Why not us, guys? We can literally do it. Thank you so much, Gemma. So I'll give it up to, also we have Tafadzo Chando, one of the co-founders of Climate Live. He's also the international director for Climate Live. Tafadzo, welcome you, and Tafadzo is going to he's the one who's going to play the video. And also after that, we will have a talk about the video where Gemma had to travel almost the entire continent of Africa just to make the documentary, guys. That's innovation. I love it, Gemma. You are using eco-friendly energy, you know, I love it. So yes, Tafadzo. You can turn around the screen.
And what it was that led you here. What makes you write? What is the substance of your stories? Is it experience? Is it a person? Is it a place? For me, it is home. I grew up on this extraordinary continent.
Sorry guys, the network is acting out, but As you can see, guys, you can literally see.
This is Dave, head of marketing at my company, about to use Grammarly to handle a tight
Sorry about that, guys. Yes.
2 weeks. Not ideal.
Her soil is living. Her shores are vast. Shores that bound and breathe life into all of us here. She is the great woman.
I've seen this. Yeah, I've seen this.
This is why I wrote A Girl from Harare. And this is how. Process is important. The process of being inspired, of writing, and taking it to the studio. I wanted to write this project in total immersion, with every day bringing constant change and experience. So, I decided to put my studio into a Land Rover and drive across the continent. I was getting into the rhythm of the journey, packing up and moving almost daily, waking up in new environments. I was writing music everywhere. I would set up a microphone to record sounds and voices and lay down ideas. I spent my days learning from the places I was visiting to the people I was meeting, the sounds, the foods, the space. This is the story of how I drove for almost 2 years across the continent, living on the road and writing. Music for me started back at home, Zimbabwe. There's something so deep-rooted in the place that you grow up. I think that's undeniable. And for me, that was Harare.
That Gemma is as Zimbabwean as they come, as I am Kenyan as I come, you know. She's just inherently from the land. She's a child of the land, and she's amazing. She's an African.
I grew up a couple of blocks down from the city center and started singing from a very young age. Going to school in Harare was where I learned to play. Yeah, my grand's a concert pianist. Her dad's a piano tuner. And so we always had pianos in the house, we always had instruments and the opportunity to learn. My mom was incredibly musical.
Look at here. Teresa.
And this is where music started for me. Music is everything. It is reflection. It is praise. It is social commentary. It's something that connects us. And this connection is where it all starts.
I'm gonna wake up.
When you start building a track, you never fully know where it's going to lead. This is my favorite part.
then Gemma, it was something else because the auditorium was full and I could hardly hear myself. All I could hear were the people singing along the music and it had goosebumps. Their vocals to me were angelic, you know. It were different from everybody else I've actually worked with.
Exploring mixing dancehall and soul. I think a lot of my journey was born, and I owe so much of my journey to the dancehall, to the influences that it had. You know, as a white woman coming into the industry, there's been so much privilege that has come with my race, and to then stand back and watch how everything that I owe, you know, is to Zim's music culture, to that music culture, and to Zim dancehall, and to this city, to Harare, where so much of it is.
The variety of genres are a sort of melting pot, but they tend to steer a certain direction. So for someone to be as distinctive as Gemma, you have to be really bold and true with the kind of music you want to make, not just for Zimbabwe, but for the world as well.
My process of recording passed through a network of studios and setups. The music traveled from studios at home, like Chill Spot, that is known for Zim dancehall, to makeshift studio setups along the road, like the back of the car and hotel cupboards. I then sent the music across to people who had been vital to the journey from abroad, like my mentor and friend Tupaniswa, and Charlie Kay, who helped pull it all together.
From a music perspective, she is so influential. She has the source and then you come to the African side, you know. She's a girl from Africa, but I think also she has a lot of reason in her. Sometimes the fusion of that is just amazing. So it's amazing to work with her.
There is a saying, Kuzivanguya Uutwa. All you know, you are told. My story is an extension of this. A Girl from Harare is the project I made on the road. It was written and recorded in 10 countries across the continent. It is a collection of experiences, emotions, and stories I lived along the way, as well as a celebration of the lessons I carried with me from my home, Zimbabwe. And what it was that led you here.
First of all, I want to say congratulations to all those who are able to see Gemma live, guys. Woo, congratulations to you, all of you guys. And congratulations to all those who are going to see Gemma tomorrow. She'll be performing and it's going to be a vibe, guys. You're going to come to Extreme Hangout and Gemma will be at her best. She breathes music. Gemma, you are music. You are music. I love the fact that, you see all those names like Salty Soul, endorsing your music and everything. You are such a powerful girl child who is influencing a lot of people in Africa and across the globe. And I really thank you so much for being here with us. So just before that, I would want you to just explain more. There are so many people here who are looking at your documentary. They really want to understand what is going on, how is music and climate change, how are they integrated together. I just want you to explain more to some of the people who are here. I saw that you traveled in Africa, all those jungles, and for 2 years across the continent. It's such an inspiration. And by that, you were using green energy. So thank you so much, Gemma. I'll give you this opportunity to just take us through the documentary. And after you, I'll give it to Tafatwa to also elaborate more on that.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you guys so much for coming. So my name is Gemma. I am a Zim dancehall and Afrofusion artist from Zimbabwe. I grew up in Harare, the city, the capital city. And I think something that I've always found really important, and especially more so focusing on as my brand as a musician has grown, is that we can't do anything in isolation. And as much as music is a massive part of who I am, the people who follow me also see a lot of Zimbabwe, a lot of the continent, and a lot of initiatives that we're doing as we tour. Whenever we're touring, we're also trying to make sure that we're doing it with a mindfulness of sustainability. We did the Girl from Harare tour of that EP shortly after the release, where we drove across Zimbabwe, also in a pink bus, funny enough. And every single stop along the way, we made sure that we were doing something to give back, especially to conservation and sustainability in Zimbabwe. So we would go to places like Wange National Park and do free concerts for the people who are working in conservation to protect things like the wild dogs and the lion research centers. Things like that. We've also been trying to highlight local ways to travel through things like hiking, and basically the goal is to use my platforms that I have been so lucky to have been given and grown, and use them for talking about positive things within the continent and what people are doing. And as I mentioned earlier as well, my mum runs one of the biggest reforestation project in Zimbabwe, and one of the biggest on the continent. I think they currently have 600,000 indigenous trees about to go into the ground this month. So that's a very big part of it as well, is making sure that we're reforesting and offsetting our carbon whenever we are having to fly and tour outside of Zimbabwe. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. I came up through the dancehall space. If you know the Zim music scene at all, dancehall is a really, really massive part of our culture and our music culture. And yeah, as a white woman in that space, I've been very privileged to be allowed a place and to be able to celebrate with so many of my peers. Yeah, there's a lot of people doing amazing things in Zimbabwe, so it's very, very good to be here and to be able to share with you guys.
Wow, thank you so much, Gemma, for that, and it's so inspiring that you're doing all this climate, all this work that you're doing in music, inspiring, being the most influential person. So with that, I think I'll go back to Tafatwa. So Tafatwa, as you are looking at the documentary from Gemma, and as you are one of the co-founders for Climate Live and also the international director, you understand how we are connecting climate change and music, So can you take us through what do you think about the documentary from Gemma, and also how is music interlinking with climate change?
Well, apparently when she was doing the tour, we literally engaged, and unfortunately she could not join our Climate Live concerts. We were hosting in over 40 countries, and we're having one in Zimbabwe during the COVID time, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yes. So It's really amazing. Like just looking at the documentary, it's something amazing in the sense that even just looking at it, she talked about sustainability, which is like a key issue with Climate Life because we also do music shows, we also do music tours, and I'm super happy. She talked about the pink bus, which is literally the same thing that we have with Climate Life. We also have like a pink bus, which we take to, from festivals to festivals, touring different areas, educating people about climate change. And I mean, getting to meet someone who literally has a lot of influence, not just in Zimbabwe, but the whole region of Africa. I mean, she literally toured over 10 countries. And I mean, this is amazing. When we get like, we gotta have Gemma. She's like the only person who literally understands our work. So it was an amazing initiative, and we are super, super happy to be engaging with her. And we're literally looking for more collaborations. And the documentary, I just hope and wish that more musicians, not just in Zimbabwe, but globally, they take up the lead and they literally, educate more people, because we should never underestimate the power that musicians and artists have in terms of pushing the message, in terms of engaging people. We as Climate Live, we use music as an engaging tool to educate people to get involved in the climate crisis fight. So the work she's doing is really amazing. It's literally something that we really need almost in every corner of our work. So I really appreciate the amazing work you're doing. Please continue working with us and continue supporting us. I know you've been doing a lot of work, and of all the movements you mentioned, the organization, the work you're doing in Zimbabwe, it's super amazing. We don't need to research about it. We're literally seeing it, and that's why we had to force you to say, you gotta come here, you gotta have this audience, so that they see the amazing work that you're doing. And for that, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it.
Wow, thank you to Fadzo for that, and I think Gemma, we can continue just appreciating the amount of work, it takes a lot of time, for someone to prepare songs and all those things, and also traveling all the way down there to COP. So I'm gonna ask you, how do you feel about being here at COP? Yourself as a musician, as the most influential person I can say in Africa. You're also in top list. I know you're in top list, Gemma.
You're overselling me.
Yes. So there are so young artists in this audience. I want you to tell us more. How do you feel about being here at COP28?
Yeah, honestly, it's such a privilege, and I'm so glad that we finally were able to make this happen. I think Climate Live is, a movement that really so naturally fits in with what I've been doing, and so it's really a privilege to be able to work with you guys. And I think that's the goal. I think to be able to look at everything that you're doing, whether you're a musician, that doesn't mean that you don't have anything to do with climate change. Because you can use not only your art and the music, but also your platform, what you're saying on your platform. It was an interesting moment for me about a year ago when I was sitting and doing a count of my socials for a sort of stats report that I needed to do, and I sat down for a second and I thought, I have over 1 million eyes on anything that I'm posting at any one time, and what am I saying? Am I just posting, hey, I'm on holiday, da, da, da. Or am I actually thinking, I am a girl from Harare. That is the thing that I lead with the most. It is the first thing you'll know about me, is that I'm proudly Zimbabwean, and I'm so proud of my country that has wild spaces, that has people doing amazing things, and that has so much potential for ways to protect not only the forests and things that we have, but to utilize things that we're getting into now. There's so much space that still needs to be covered in terms of recycling, in terms of things like that. And I stopped and I just thought, this is it. I can't put another post up without thinking, what am I saying? Because I think it is that constant, and I think we've seen it as well, that the more you are seeing people speaking about climate initiatives, the the more comfortable people are getting with it, the consumers are getting with it, until eventually it's becoming trendy, which is the goal. You know, you want to get to a point where everybody is like, oh, I'm reusing everything, I'm not. And I think a lot of that is also how much you're seeing it, and everybody is constantly on our screens. You know, people are on their screens the whole time. So as someone with pages, I feel quite a heavy responsibility to make sure that every time you see Gemma's things, you know, the same stuff is coming up. Yes, there's good music. It's always fun and cute and bubbly and things like that, but also, you know, you're not seeing plastic in the videos. You're seeing wild spaces. You're learning about how to get in comms if you do want to go and interact with those people. And whether you have 100 followers, 1 million followers, it doesn't matter. It's about the fact that we're all on our screens, and what are we exposing? What are we sharing? And it's important. It's much more important than I think I realized a couple of years ago.
Wow, I really do appreciate that, Gemma, and all this journey in music and everything. It's really inspirational. You know, like now you see we have some of the Vanessa Nakati, she's with us. One of the most influential climate activists. She's also watching you, Gemma, so you're making an impact around the world. So I think I love the song Dinewe, and I think I would ask Tafazo to play that song, because it speaks a lot, and also you see the journey that she went through when she was traveling across Africa, and how music can speak. Because at Climate Live, what we use is music. Music can unite anybody. You can speak in Shona, but somebody can love the music, can feel the vibe. So imagine right now, Gemma, on your post, how many people are seeing that you're at COP, how many people are gonna follow about COP, how many people are gonna talk about climate change, because you have endorsed it. And also, you know that as much as you're in Africa, we have so many youth who cannot even read and write, but can listen to your voice, can listen to your songs. So it's important that we have all those activists, all those work that you're doing that is influencing. Also a girl child, you're someone who also influenced a girl child, and I love about that. So I'm gonna play Indine, and yes, I love that song. And I know that you've been going through a lot, and you're gonna tell us like a little bit about the journey through Dinewe and all this. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Dinewe, I think you're playing this because you like the song. Dinewe was the love song that I wrote to Africa, and it was written while I was driving across the continent, and it was filmed in 10 countries. We filmed in every single country that we went to on that journey. And yeah, again, just trying to bring in a bit of showcasing of what there is in Africa, and kind of get people excited about those wild spaces.
Oh, thank you, Jim. So guys, if you can turn a little bit so that you can really see what we're talking about, guys. What is the power of music and the power of influential work. So Tafazo, so you can also, on the song, you can see the details are there. You can see how many kilometers you traveled. Network is so jealous.
I think I lost my microphone.
The mic to bottom. The network is so jealous, guys. Just look.
Alright, hi.
Yes.
Thank you guys, thanks for watching. Yeah, so that was the trip. 10 countries, 24,000 kilometers, 2 years with solar panels and a battery-powered little keyboard and a guitar and a microphone, and yeah, we made music. And hopefully the goal is to keep doing things like that, you know, to use the platform to spread awareness and to chat to people, and yeah, that's the goal for 2024 for me at least.
Wow, thank you so much, Gemma, for that. And I think people have been looking at your video, they can see the journey and stuff. So I'm gonna ask Tafadzwa, yes, so I'm gonna ask Tafadzwa. Tafadzwa, as you have been looking at Gemma's video on DNA, where you can see that you've been traveling through in most of the African countries which are mostly impacted by climate change, and so you can see you can see from the video, you can see everything that is happening. What can you tell us about it? What are your views on this video?
Well, firstly, I'm happy that she did it in a sustainable way. You know, normally when, like we even say in the spaces when, you know, people they come, they ask us that when you're doing your concerts, have you ever thought about the carbon footprint, and you know, how are you sustainably managing these events? And just looking with the way she did the tour, you know, her car, it had a solar system. Like she tried by all means that the tour was very sustainable in a way, and you know, just the idea of touring the whole region. Like I'm sure even you are aware with. This might be a surprise, but with the documentary that we are literally focusing on is Climate Life Southern Africa, like touring the whole region of Southern Africa. You know how amazing it is to engage people from you know, from country to country, from community to community, and I'm super happy that she literally managed to have that experience, you know, engaging with people from different walks of life. And you know, as someone who is influential, you know, who has like that audience, it's really amazing, because we literally know that you know, whatever she says, whatever she does is for the people, you understand, because she has that experience, she has that engagement, and which is the whole reason why we are super happy as Climate Life, because you know, engaging with her, we know that she's for us and she's fighting for our cause, and we are literally super happy to be engaging with her, and we're literally you know, kindly requesting her to literally push the same message to all the other musicians, so that they can also continue, so that they can also join the fight, and also manage, you know, when they're doing their shows, when they're doing any action, that they also do consider you know, sustainable practices in their wake, and they also continue engage in different communities from place to place, so that we can reach a bigger audience, because even in line with our aims as Climate Life, you know, we engage, we educate, and we empower. So these are like the key areas that we literally focus at in line with, you know, climate education. And just with the work that she's doing, it's really amazing that we have someone who has her work which aligns with what we do. So I'm super happy with this approach.
Wow, thank you, Tafadzwa, for that. And Gemma, you're gonna be part of the documentary that you want to produce, because we love this. And so I know that I have so many questions on you, you know, but for the moment I would like, so since we don't have much time, so and also I know there are so many guys who want to take pictures with you. I see when we're playing dinner where people are vibing, they don't even know what you're saying, but they're vibing. That's the vibe, that's the purpose of Climate Life. That's why we are spreading the awareness so that you vibe. You know, it's also an edutainment. You know, just talking about climate change, you spend the whole day sitting, it becomes boring. But when you said that we have Gemma, imagine how many people are gonna attend in Zimbabwe if we have a Climate Life concert, Climate Life thing. So many people are going to attend, even in South Africa, all these countries. So I'm just gonna give it to all those guys who have a question. Since we have limited time, so I'm gonna take some questions, guys, that you have for Gemma. So if you have any question, you can just raise your hand. Then I'll give you the mic. Then Gemma will respond to you direct. Oh, Tafazo.
Hello, hi Gemma.
Hey girl.
My name is Tafadzwa Kurotwi. Yes, Azi. I wanted to ask, what would you say to a young person or a young woman, a young girl who would like to influence climate action? It's either poetry, music, dance, but through art. What advice would you give a young lady or a young girl in Zimbabwe, in Africa, and across the globe?
Thank you. I would say two things, I think. Number one, I would say do it from the beginning. I would say right from the beginning, no matter, you know, if what stage of your career you're at, I would say if that's something that you're passionate about, you're only going to learn more and grow more as you grow as an artist. And I would say number two, do it in immersion. You know, something that I found is that when you've experienced something, you feel much more comfortable talking about it and you know a lot more. So if whatever it is that you're trying to focus on, I would say get into that space, get into wild spaces, get into conversations with people and really be on the ground, and not only in terms of understanding what it is you're talking about and what it is that you're wanting to push, but also within your art. I feel that when you're outside, when you're in these spaces, you get so much inspiration from them. So yeah, lyrically, I think, musically as well, I would just say be in those spaces and do it right from the beginning.
Well, thank you so much, Gemma, for that. And all those guys who have questions for Tafadzwa Chan. Tafadzwa is one of the co-founders of Climate Life. So if you have any question, you can ask, you can raise your hand. And also for Gemma, if you have any question for these two guys, just raise your hand. And yes, Kuruma? I would love to run for you.
Yes. Alright, Gemma, thank you very much. You're doing extremely well. By the way of introduction, I'm Abubakar Kruma. I'm the coordinator for Climate Life in Liberia, and I also use music to disseminate climate change education and awareness across. So my question to you is that, how are you? Because many young people there in Zimbabwe and other part of the world are seeing you as role model, right? So what have you been doing? What is your engagement in incorporating more young people to using music to educate and entertain people across the world? What have you been doing? Thank you.
Yeah, I think sometimes we forget how much people are influenced by what we see. So I think leading by example is the number one thing that you do. You know, often I have found, like, when I'm looking at artists that I really look up to, and I'll notice that they do something. I think it's simply that it's being a really good example, and at any point that you have the opportunity to talk about something, bring it up, you know, talk about it. Things like interviews, whenever I'm doing interviews and all they want to talk about is, who am I dating and what about this new song? I always try and bring it back to the important things, and I often prepare for that ahead of time. There's so much you can do on your social media, there's so much you can do in every aspect of your business, not only the art, you know, and as much as art, you know, you're writing it into the music and putting it into the visuals, you're putting it into your socials, you're putting it into your interviews, you're putting it into every single opportunity, every time you're in a newspaper, every time you do anything. It's sort of bringing it back to the hard-hitting points, because ultimately there's a lot of the narrative that you can control about your brand as an artist going outside, and so to just be really mindful about it. You know, I've found so many artists on the continent of Africa, for example, we fall into this habit of making music videos with big houses and big cars and big watches and lots of girls and as much as it's great and it does well, there's more than one way to do things, and to be unique in that. Yeah, so just being mindful, I would say.
Wow, thank you so much, guys. I'm gonna take only two questions because like our time is very limited, and just be short and precise. And also Gemma, just answer them short and precise.
Okay, fine. I love talking.
Yeah. So you raise your hand first. Yes.
Thank you very much, Gemma. I think your story is very inspiring. I'm Shmunya from Zambia. Just looking at the project that you did is quite very interesting, and I think if many people could take up that should be interested. But my question is on the cost aspect. How easy was it to find financing? Because you went to over 10 countries, and I think through a lodging one, also getting people. How easy was it?
Great question. I didn't have any funding for it at all. I had saved up for about what I thought would probably get me about 3 months in, and I had no idea where I was going, how long it was going to be. But we did a lot of wild camping. We did a lot of camping where we would meet locals and ask them where we could stay, and often people would offer us their homes for a small fee or for free. We shopped local at markets and roadside vegetable markets. I'm vegetarian, so that made that really easy in terms of that cut the cost quite a lot as well. And then I sang in, I would message restaurants and bars and hotels and places and basically send them my music, and I would sing at a couple of different places along the way, sometimes for free accommodation and food, sometimes for a fee. And basically did it like that, to be honest, and it was cheaper than living at home, actually, funny enough, yeah, it was incredible. It was just finding your way and finding your feet and making little bits along the way as you need it, but a lot of vegetables.
Wow, thank you so much, Gemma, for that. So I'm gonna take one question, only one question, guys. I know that there are so many guys who want to take pictures with Gemma and everything. Yes.
This question is directed to Tafadzwa. You are the director for Climate Live. So how can us young people, especially girls, be part of the Climate Live movement to ensure that we also spread the word on climate change and different aspects of climate change, especially on gender barriers as well? So how can we now use this platform to influence change, to advocate for change, and to advocate for gender justice within Climate Live?
Okay, that's a very important question. As Climate Live, we are based almost in over 100 countries. We have key coordinators in all those countries, and everyone is free to join actually, regardless of your gender, race, or anything. We do not discriminate against anything, so anyone is free to join. We have you can go on our website, you see most of our key coordinators for each specific country. There will be an email address, and in most cases, socials and numbers as well. Or alternatively, you can go on the Climate Live website. You can be able to see a platform where you can register to join in. You can even volunteer, and even here with the pavilion here, we have slots for campaign zones for different movements and organizations to come and showcase their work specifically. And we even tried by all means to specifically focus on youth organizations which are focusing on gender, as you have said, and most importantly, youth inclusion as well. And we also managed to bring in as many young people to join in panel discussions, and most of our sessions actually were literally meant for different youth groups across the Mapa community as well, and they were free actually, so you just had to apply. So just check out our socials and our website, most importantly, then you can get all the important information.
Thank you so much, Tafadzwa. So Gemma, we are closing, and I just want you to give the closing remark. What is that you want to tell people, since you are here at COB and you can see people how they vibing to your music and stuff. So just the closing remarks from you, Gemma, as you are our special guest here. Yeah, the floor is yours, Gemma.
I just want to say thank you. I want to say Maita Basa. Thank you so much for having me, Climate Live. I'm really excited for tomorrow. It's going to be amazing. Come check out the show. It's tomorrow night, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just say some vocal.
Just sing a little bit.
I think everyone's heard my voice quite enough. But yeah, just thank you, and excited for this next part of the journey. Let's keep pushing.
Thank you, Gemma. Thank you so much, guys, for attending this session with Gemma. Give it up to Gemma!
And also, she's going